The housing market is showing signs that it's tired. It's ready to throw in the towel, and sellers are going to get hit hard as their market is suddenly going to be taken by the very people that they're trying to sell it to. Warnings are popping up like crazy as more of our electrical grids are coming under attack. Why does this continue to happen? Is this intentional? And why does it feel like nothing's being done to take care of our power grid? Also, 2023 is going to make history when it comes to layoffs in our country. Goldman Sachs is now set to begin their process of cutting of the fat by reducing their workforce by the thousands. This next one could be the biggest in history. Do you think that we're going to be ready for all of these problems hitting us in the same year? Now, before I continue, please take a second, smash the like button, and if you're in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the US economy, social security, stock market, passive income, the housing market, Washington, D.C., and everything and anything that affects our families, our cash flow, and our bank accounts, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link for our community in the description down below. I've already done it. Thousands of you guys have done it as well. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is below. So, desperate times call for desperate measures. Now, I've said this before, but the housing market is in such a mess that home sellers are pretty much doing everything that they can to get buyers. Data shows that 42% of sellers have offered at least one concession to buyers. Now, this could either be in the form of cash, credit for things like repairs, mortgage rate buydowns, or even closing costs. The seller's market is vanishing before our eyes, folks. Buyers are going to have a field day when more of these sellers have to compromise and accept that the housing market is slowing down. The collapse is going to be legendary. Connected to a collapse, we're at a point in time where we have to realize the importance of staying prepared. When you start to see just how fragile our infrastructures are, you would realize the same thing. I mean, just look at California, for example. California is preparing for even worse weather after being hit by torrential rain that lasted a week.
Hundreds of roads look like rivers. High winds have torn down structures. Rivers up and down California are hitting record levels as residents are pelted with storm after storm.
I could hear the rain hitting everything, and I could hear things bouncing around my porch. One at a time, right?
First responders have had to save several people from quickly rising floodwaters, including this one in Sacramento where 2 people were rescued. The storm has caused several deaths, including a 2-year-old child killed by a falling tree.
When I first arrived on scene, a frantic father came out of the house holding the child.
Piers have been destroyed in several coastal towns. Hundreds of thousands of homes have been flooded or are without power, forcing many to live in area shelters.
Folks come to us on sometimes the worst days of their lives. Even if you don't choose to stay the night, if you've got a friend or a family that you're staying with, you can still come to the shelter, grab a hot meal.
The so-called atmospheric river coming from the Pacific Ocean has caused the torrential rains and high winds. Some Northern California ski slopes have had to shut down as chairlifts are tossed around. Many neighborhoods are shut off by fallen trees blocking roads.
This is way off the charts. Cumulatively, what we experienced in the last week is cumulatively more than I can say we've experienced in 15 years.
Crews are also working around the clock to cover breaks and hillsides with tarps to stop more landslides on terrain already weakened by drought and wildfires. Another worry for homeowners who fear they'll soon have to evacuate.
Been working on it for quite a few days because in 20-mile-an-hour winds, it's hard to get it down.
Oh God, everything's destroyed.
And now forecasters are warning another atmospheric river of moisture will hit California Monday, bringing what they call a relentless parade of cyclones over the next few days. More dangerous weather for a state that has already had enough.
The inclement weather in California has not only taken lives, but has also knocked out power for hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses. Around 424,000 homes and businesses in California lost power. Now think about that for a second. How long could you last without power? What do you have at your home that's built for situations like this? Do you have flashlights, batteries, candles, food, generators? Do you have a way to cook food, firewood, canned goods? If you don't, my question is why? I guess that's a good question, right? Because these things, they can technically happen at any point in time. And while warnings exist, some of these power outages remain to be man-made, if you know what I mean. This is exactly what happened in Las Vegas when some guy drove his car into a solar energy plant, setting it on fire. This guy's already facing terrorism charges, but the damage has been done.
Photos the 8 News Now investigators obtained show the burnt car. Police suspect a man set on fire inside a Las Vegas area solar facility. The giant array producing energy for MGM, generating power for its strip properties. Police believe 34-year-old Mohammed Mesmarian, seen in these surveillance images, rammed the car through the gates at the plant Tuesday afternoon. Around midnight Wednesday, Mesmarian allegedly drove that car into this pit, siphoning gasoline onto wires and setting the vehicle on fire. Police say Mesmarian then sat in a chair watching the car burn. Detectives believe Mesmarian was scoping the site for at least a day. A nearby business calling police, saying a man, later identified as Mesmarian, was trespassing. Officers say Mesmarian reportedly told them he was born in Iran, works odd jobs, and was in town with his mother. On Thursday, a day now after the fire at the facility, police found Mesmarian at a Boulder Beach campground and took him into custody. They say he attempted to run away from them twice.
The plant suffered to such an extent that they're estimating the fix to take at least 2 years. 2 years, guys. Thousands of people are losing power due to these attacks, but when I go and warn people about it, my videos are suppressed. You know what? I think it's the middle of the video. But go ahead and share this to your friends and let them know that they need to know exactly what's happening around us. But I guess doing that is easier than ignoring the elephant in the room. How crazy would it be to be inside of a room with an elephant? Anyway, this is in connection to the December job gains. Why are we seeing the stock market rally even when things don't go their way? It's like we know what the job numbers are, but the markets, they don't care. This will only tell the Fed one thing: keep raising those interest rates. Keep pushing interest rates. Keep doing what you're doing and inflict more pain to the American people. What should this tell you? We're running out of opportunities to prepare ourselves. Layoffs are coming and there's thousands happening all over the place. I mean, if I talked about all of them, we would have one video dedicated just to layoffs. But let's talk about one, shall we? Goldman Sachs is now set to lay off 3,200 people, the largest in their operational history. This is Goldman Sachs, guys. Now, if this doesn't tell you that things are about to get worse, then I don't know how to convince you. I guess even Goldman Sachs needs to convince itself that things are fine, because they released an article, I kid you not, it's titled this, quote, "Why the US Can Avoid a Recession in 2023," end quote. Like, you're gonna fire thousands of workers, but at the same time, you're gonna tell us that a recession can be avoided? Now, I don't know about that. They released it earlier this year too. There's gonna be more bad news, and this may hit people who just continue to coast through this economic downturn. You don't want to panic at the worst possible time. I'm telling you this because I care about this community and I care about everyone that comments. Even if you don't like everything that I say, that's fine. We can disagree. In fact, I encourage everyone to speak, but when I tell you that tough times are coming, I need you to listen and prepare yourselves and prepare your family. And if you have a great job, then great. If you can handle a second one, even better. Build up your cash reserves. Build an emergency fund. Build your food and water reserves. If the time comes and I'm wrong, fine. But if I'm right and you don't do these things, then who are you going to blame at the end of it all? If you want to reduce risk, start with paying down high interest debt. Stop borrowing against your credit cards for things that you don't need. Stock up on your essentials. Be ready because the system could go into a shutdown. And if you care about the people around you as well, your family, share these videos with them. Not everyone has the advantage of having emergency money, emergency funds, backup plans. Why don't you start by discussing that with them? Housing is another big concern. Make sure that you're settled in nicely. Don't borrow on your home unless you absolutely have to. These are things that are incredibly basic when you think about it, but not everybody has the courage to face them. When the bad times happen, you don't want to be on the other side of it all. You want to be the one that has the option to help out, who still has the privilege to make decisions when it comes to food, clothing, necessities. I urge you guys to listen and to do something today. That way the you of tomorrow will thank you. Now, having said that, I can do you one better. I'm not just some random guy on the internet who just gives you your daily dose of the truth. I'm also a guy you could talk to directly if you want to learn. What can we discuss? Well, budgeting for starters. That's an important topic. But what if you want to get your first side hustle or small business started? Well, guys, I'm one email away. You can also join our Patreon community. There's a link in the description down below if you'd like to learn more about side hustles and even starting a small business. Some things are only impossible because, we forget to see the opportunities that are all around us. Never doubt yourself because we're capable of doing anything we want. Now, before I go, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up for the video. Also, subscribe to the channel for future videos. Appreciate you guys watching. Y'all be safe.